I'm David Volk for Chin Music. Today's post, top lessons from more reading of Project 2025. There really is something duller than a Republican convention. As the Republican convention winds to a close, and Joe Biden moves closer to a momentous decision, and a worldwide tech outage seems to be screwing up the day of everyone who got up before me, I'd like to share what I learned from reading another section of Project 2025, but I can't, because I learned absolutely nothing! The writing about what the Heritage Foundation thinks about the Office of Management of the Budget is so dense and footnote-laden that I'm really not sure what they're trying to say. I just know it's not good. I think that's part of how they hope to win. Focus so minutely on stuff we don't give much thought to that we simply close the book up and walk away before we get to the truly frightening stuff. But I am not afraid. Stupid, yes. Afraid, no. So I will continue to go where no sane man has gone before, even if I have to make it up. Having said that, here are the most important lessons from yesterday's reading. 1. I need a better glass protection screen on my phone. I fell asleep so many times while reading this passage on my phone that I dropped my iPhone and damaged the Invisiglass screen on my 12 Pro. Unfortunately, no one seems to sell the good ones anymore. That's the screen protectors, not the phones. 2. This book could cause a worldwide footnote shortage. So many footnotes, so little time. By that, I mean a lifetime. With each passing section of the book, there are so many footnotes that it could take past the election to figure out half of what Heritage is talking about. This is by design. I'm guessing they figure if they put in so many footnotes, you won't have time to check them all out. You'll just move on and miss the underpinnings of their evil designs. In this case, as far as I'm concerned, they're right. There were 30 footnotes in the first 8 pages of this chapter of the book and 45 in the 22-page chapter overall. There's just not enough time for me to figure them all out during your average 3-hour swim meet, which I was attending when I tried to read this. Number 3, there's that woke thing again. Yes, there's that woke thing again. Apparently, one of the biggest crises a new conservative president will face isn't the war in Ukraine, hostilities in the Middle East, or checking Vladimir Putin. No. It's the sprawling federal bureaucracy that keeps them from realizing their designs for good or evil. If the agencies aren't blocking the president's goals, they are at the very least busy carrying out, quote, the policy plans and preferences of a radical, supposedly woke faction of the country. That and the sudden shortage of footnotes. And by the way, the only people who seem to be supposing that government agencies are woke are people like you, even though they can't tell you what woke means. And when I say you, I don't mean you, my listeners. I mean people in the Heritage Foundation. 5, I think. You notice I can't really count on these things. I always lose count because I'm just so stunned at the stupidity. But anyways, 5, I think they want to hire one of my relatives. In another section about hiring a general counsel for the OMB, Heritage says the organization must, quote, ensure the appointment of general counsel who is respected yet creative and fearless in his or her ability to challenge legal precedents that serve to protect the status quo. In short, someone who will go in and say something along the lines of, if it isn't expressly prohibited, I can do it. Not unlike a person with autism who lives in a black and white world where if something isn't called out as being wrong, then it's okay. In fact, that's the way a close relative of mine who is on the spectrum sees the world. Maybe he should try out for this job. He'd be great for it. He's only a teenager and he hasn't attended law school yet, but like the Heritage Foundation, he already knows everything. Just ask him. And 6, I guess. And you thought Trump's speech was dull. Like to mention J. Trump's speech at the RNC. This section was long, rambling, and I presume had some sort of point that justified the Heritage Foundation's blathering on and on, but I failed to see it, which proves that there was at least one thing out there that was duller than the Donald's rambling, disturbing speech at the Republican National Convention. Did I see it? No, I didn't need to. I've seen any other speech he's given, and this was just an opportunity to repackage his greatest hits, recount how he was so hurt by flying shrapnel that he has to wear Kotex on his ear, and give a loving tribute to the fireman who took a bullet for him while also misspelling the poor fireman's name. And the saga continues. I'm David Volk for Chin Music.